Welcome back, everybody. So, we got part 5, the finale of our preseason OWL Season 3 power rankings. So, we got number 4, 3, 2, and 1. This is the top tier. I think my number 4 is going to surprise some people. The top 3, not as much. Um, so, before I say before I say this, I have two teams for Overwatch League Season 3. I am a Toronto fan because they have Surefour, my favorite player, and similar players I really like. I also like their design and everything. And then am still a Gladiators fan, even though I was sad that Surefour left and Hydration and a couple of the other guys. But I still like a lot of the players they have. I still like the organization, everything like that. So this season, just so you guys know, I'm a Gladiator fan and a Defiant fan. So that being said, I still think that this is a pretty like I tried to be as neutral as possible going into this. So at number 4, it's my boys in purple, the LA Gladiators. So I think some people could be like, no, they're more like 6, 7, 8, and there could definitely be an argument made. I could respect that, but the Gladiators, I think they have championship potential for sure. I loved most of the moves they made. I wish if they had retained either Hydration or Surefour, I would be in absolute love with this team. But I do have a little bit of an issue for it. This team also has, for me, big. Unlike last year, they have big crash potential. I could see this team kind of burning out a little bit, and falling apart to an extent, but I don't think that'll happen. They have authoritative. I can't speak. They have a good structure. They have a good organizational structure. Deepe as their GM and head coach, he's a no bullshit kind of guy. You're gonna work, and you're gonna come in every day, and it's very important for a couple of the guys in this team. So for tanks, they brought back Bishu, who was on the team season 1, and then for most of season 2. Then they traded him over to the Charge, and then this offseason he came back. I don't see Bishu playing a lot, but he's an excellent influence for the team. He's a good ambassador of the esport, and he's a good guy to have around. He'll make the team better. The other off tank they have is Space, formerly of the LA Valiant. He moved over in town, and he's so good. I think the best Western off tank for sure. He is a very good leader in game. He stays super cool. He's got a great hero pool. The Zarya, particularly the Diva, also played really really well on Roadhog when need be. So he's a great pickup for them. And then for main tanks, they have two. They have LH Cloudy, who was on the Paris Eternal last year. I don't see him playing too much. I think it's going to be more OGE, formerly of Dallas Fuel. OGE is an incredibly talented main tank. There's been consistency issues though. A little bit of burnout it seemed last year. That's why they had to put Trill in. But OGE could absolutely be one of the top tanks in the league. And if they get his head right and keep it there, him in Space is a incredible tank duo in my eyes. Then supports, they still have the Mr. Consistence, Big Goose, and Shaz. This is one of the best support lines in the league. I don't think they ever have been or will be the best, but they have consistently been a top 5, top 6 support line. They're not really going to let you down. Shaz has a great hero pool. Big Goose, really, really good on the Lucio and improved his Mercy play quite a bit as well. They also brought in Paintbrush, who is a main support like Big Goose. We'll see if they rotate them at all. I think at least in the beginning we're going to see a lot of Shaz and Big Goose, but we'll see. Paintbrush he's been around in contenders for a couple of seasons, so be interesting to see what we get from him. So the only form of a little bit of whole pump the brakes for me in this team is the DPS. So you got Birdring, formerly London Spitfire, super inconsistent player. A lot of for him it's like mental. He did have a wrist injury as well. I believe was that season 1. I think that was towards the end of season 1. Might have. I think it was 1. So Birdring again. You need he's kind of like OGE where he can get in his own head and be his own worst enemy at times. So if you have that great influence from a coach and from the rest of the team, and you can keep his head on straight, he's got amazing potential. They also have Mirror, who has been in contenders for a couple of years. He's a ladder monster. He's a guy that's been pretty hotly debated a little bit because he could come in and be an absolute hard carry, um, but he could also come in and maybe bust. He doesn't have the OWL experience, so a little bit of a wild card there as well. And then they also have Jaru, who was also formerly of Team Envy, like a lot of other guys that have been brought in, like Sharp and Elivote. So great player. I like Jaru a lot. I thought that he should have been in OWL like last year. So we'll see how this trio works. Again, there's just not a lot of experience here, which is what scares me a little bit. But you have leaders on the team who have been through it, like Space, Big Goose, Shaz, and Bishu. I think they're going to be a great stabilizing presence. I like their coaching staff. So this is a top tier team. I'm very even. It sucks that I'm. It almost sucks that I'm a Gladiator fan because some people are probably like, "Oh, you're just gassing him up because you're a fan or whatever and biased." But this is a fascinating team for me. It's absolutely fascinating to see how the dynamics are going to work out and if they can get away from the bad mentalities and the burnout that have affected a couple of those players. But they're a title contender for me for sure. So we go to the top three, and at number three we got it's New York, the Excel. So I've seen a lot of two. Hey, I've seen a lot of number two for them, and I could see that. Personally, I just have them as three. San Francisco and Vancouver are just have a little bit more for me. So big moves for them. They swapped their off tanks. They now have Hotba instead of Meko. I think Meko is a little better on Diva, but I think Hotba has a bit of a better hero pool. So I think it's a pretty even trade off. You still have Jonak and Amano, one of the best, I would say probably the second or third best support line. You still have Sabiolbi, the old captain, Libero, Swiss Army knife, amazing at pretty much everything. You still have Nene, had a great rookie season last year. And now they also have another ultimate wild card mentality issues have kind of plagued him in the past. It's who are you, and who are you is known as one of the Genji guys. Absolute god at Genji. Has incredible mechanical skill. So if the players and the coaching staff can, again, if you can just keep him focusing on the right things, keep him working hard, and staying out of any kind of trouble, then he could cause some waves, and that's along with their other three amazing DPS players. They also brought in Mandu and Bianca. I see them as more of support guys that are going to just kind of watch and learn and not play too much. Maybe if they're up 3-0 in a series, you see them get thrown in a little bit. But even without that, like I said, Mono Hotba, that's an amazing tank line. Support line's amazing. The DPS are scary as hell. This team is still absolutely stacked. They had some success in the postseason last year, which was a big step for them. They were known as the regular season monsters, but then they choke in the playoffs. Um, I think these top three teams are in a little bit of a tier of their own. So Supreme, they're definitely a title contender, going to be right there. Um, is the New York Excel, just like the last couple seasons. So number two, we got. Yeah, you guys already know. It's gonna be Vancouver. There's no way San Francisco wouldn't be at one. So Vancouver Titans, a team that I was a little bit critical of last year. Um, they they could be a team that could have issues as well. Um, their big change, they now have Fissure, former main tank for the London Spitfire, LA Gladiators, and Seoul Dynasty. He retired last season. He's come back out of retirement to play in season 3. Mechanically, he's one of the best in the entire world. Such a good Winston player, also very, very good on the Rhine, and pretty much anything else that you need out of your main tank. But with him, again, like I've been talking about with some of these other teams, it could be mentality issues. He's bounced around. This is his fourth team. He's already retired once, so there could potentially be some disconnect there. Plus, he's coming into a team that he's never played with, and a lot of these guys have been playing together for years. So could be an issue, but he's so mechanically skilled, such a great player, and apparently he's a very good shot caller as well. So it's a big addition for them. No more bumper. The back line, again, second best in the league for me. Twilight Slime, absolutely amazing duo. Can't really say much about them. You got Hacksaw, Stitch, and Soman Su. Again, they're really, really, really good. Towards the end of last year, I had some concerns. I was like, Hacksaw's amazing, but can Somansu and Stitch really come through on some of the DPS heroes? And I think they did. They played really well towards the end of the year. They made it all the way to the grand finals for losing to the machine that was San Fran Shock. And then they also added Ryu Jaehong. I don't really know why. Maybe just as a presence. I don't think he's better than Twilight. They share the same role. So I don't see him getting a ton of playtime. I think Twilight will get the majority. But, Jaehong is a very tenured player, so he could bring a little bit of that experience to him. Maybe help out with Fissure a little bit because, they've been on a team together before. So once they incorporate Fissure, if they do it well, you talk about Janu as well, an incredible off tank player. They should be the absolute top tier team again. I made the mistake of having them at like 6 or 7 in my last year power rankings. I'm not going to make that mistake again. I think they are the second best going in. And that leaves, of course, your Season 2 champs. Sorry, it's boring, but I mean, really, how can you not pick them? The roster, pretty much the same. They now have Ans. I don't know how to pronounce it. They no longer have Nevix, but you still have the tank line of Smurf, Super, and Choyobin. I mean, you can't go wrong with that tank line. Last year I had some questions about Super and Smurf. They both performed really, really well, especially in the playoffs. So can't say much about that. They have the roles covered really, really well. Super on Ryan, Smurf on Winston. Um, I think they have the best support line in the league. I think Moth is the most underrated player in the league and the best main support. Look at his smug little smile. There were just so many games where I'm just like, Moth's carrying. No one's talking about it, but Moth is just carrying. He's doing all the right things at all times. You got Architect, Striker, Sinatra, Rascal for DPS. I mean, any combination of the two of them is just absolutely top tier. Um, they're nuts. This team is still so stacked. They have most of their same coaching staff in place. I don't see them going anywhere. I really think this season's gonna probably come down to, all right, let's see if anyone can get to their level, because as we saw at the end of last year, even Vancouver and New York weren't really on their level. They took out Vancouver pretty easily in the grand finals. So they did lose early on, barely to Atlanta, but then it was just absolute dominance from there. This team should be everybody's title favorites for next year. Like if you're just thinking about it rationally. So yeah, San Francisco Shock not going anywhere, staying at number one. Um, I don't. The only thing I'm not huge on their rebrand. Um, I don't know. It's just kind of plain for me. I don't know what you guys think about it, but yeah, there are the power rankings. 20 to 1. Went through them all. let me know what you guys think. I'm very curious. I don't think the top three will get much pushback. But like the 4 to 10 range, particularly, I think you can have some great discussions about. So let me know what you guys think. Um, I hope you're excited for Overwatch League Season 3. I know I am. Like I said, the last couple of days I've been like, oh my gosh, it's almost here. Um, because I didn't want to like count down and make it seem like forever, but it's fast approaching. We're gonna have a lot of changes this season. So hopefully everything goes well. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys have yourselves a fantastic couple of days, and I'll see you in the next one.